So everybody, look, a lot of people like to hear from Anna. They like her answers. A lot of people in the comments said they think she's smarter than me. So we starting a new thing. We're gonna call this Ask Anna. Somebody's gonna send in a question. You can send it in the comments. A question for Anna, and we're gonna do a video where I ask the question, and Anna's gonna answer. Simple as that. You got a question for Anna? Ask Anna. You can make it a hashtag. Just make sure you're letting us know that the question is going to Anna, and I'm gonna present the question to her. She's gonna answer the question, and this could become a thing. If enough people got questions for you, this could become a thing.
It's a thing.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good about that.
Okay.
It's already a thing. So bring the questions on.
All right, that's it. Ask Anna. Let's get into the Anna and Dre show.
DreAllDay.com.
What's good, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Anna.
This is Anna.
AnnaAllDay.com. We are finally. It's been 4 months.
4 months.
We recorded. Our last episode was the white girl dating black guys episode, and we did that when we got these phones, which was in December.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 months. Since
what about other episodes we recorded after that? After we went to zoo and stuff like that.
Zoo? We recorded episodes.
We were recording stuff in the car. Where did those go?
We did one on. I forget what that one was. We did one when we was at the strawberry farm.
The strawberry farm, yeah.
But the one where we was shitting on that bad farm, I didn't put that out.
Oh, okay.
I still got it. We ain't gonna talk about that.
We have some in the bank.
Yeah, we got some. Oh, listen, I got so much in the bank you wouldn't even understand. So listen, what we gonna talk about here today? First of all, we're gonna do some responses to the comments on this most popular Anna and Dre show episode, which it didn't go viral, but it's been the most popular. It came out, and I told Anna about this. First of all, what y'all gotta understand about Anna is that she does not read any of the comments. I look at all the comments. I moderate all the shit. She don't know nothing about none of y'all responses to that video.
I'll read like the first day it comes out, and I'll see like a few comments, and then I'm out.
Yeah, well, this is what happened. So the day that the video came out, I mean, when the video comes out online, no matter how big your audience is, big or small, you get most of your views like that first day or two.
Yeah.
And then it goes down, and then it just levels off at a lower level forever, unless you got a viral video. Excuse me.
Right.
But this is what happened with this video. It went up, and then it went down normally, and then out of nowhere, because I'm like, all right, the video came out, maybe this will be interesting. Few people left comments, and then it moved on to the next thing. And then like a month and a half later, all these comments start coming from this video. And I'm looking at my comments on YouTube. The way it works is you just go to a page for comments. So it just shows you comments on all your stuff. And I got 6,000 videos on YouTube. So I'm just looking at these comments, but I'm like, wow, why are all these people commenting on this video? And it didn't just come out. So it must have got boosted up somewhere. Maybe somebody posted it on their website. Who knows? But all these comments came out over this video. So we're going to talk about some of the comments that came from that video. Now, Anna doesn't know about, she doesn't know about any of the comments like I told y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all, I'm going to refer to some things that have been said. I'm not reading anybody's comments, none of that shit, because anybody who was trolling and all that, anybody who trolled got blocked. You already know that. I'm not with the nonsense. I ain't doing for those of y'all who don't know me, I ain't doing no back and forth with you on the internet. Somebody coming, anything that I post talking shit, you getting blocked immediately. I don't care who you are, where you were referred from, or what your argument was. So don't write a long ass post, because it's gonna be a waste of time. Nobody will see it. So anyway, going into the comments from this video. The video was about white girls who date black guys. The first thing that a lot of people seem to not understand is that all of the content from that episode, the stuff that I was actually saying and levying to you for you to respond to, was not something I just came up with. I was reading from a blog post. And it seems like a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, they thought it was you coming up with these bright ideas.
Yeah, they thought I was just saying shit to try to be funny or try to be ignorant or try to provoke you to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Or say something dumb. And people are like, Dre, you're not listening. You're not letting people. A lot of people said I wasn't listening. They said I wasn't letting you talk. They said I was talking too much. What do you think? Was I talking too much?
Maybe. Not really. Maybe a little bit. He was cutting me off when he needed us to move forward. So.
Absolutely. Well, you got to do that when you have a show and and you have guests on your show, or is even two people together on the show. Sometimes the other person starts talking too much about any certain thing. I'm not saying you, but anybody.
You can get lost in the conversation. So he was doing for the show's sake, which I didn't take too personal at all, actually. So
Okay. There were several comments of people saying, and this thing got like hundreds of comments, but there were several comments people saying, Dre, you're talking too much. You're not listening. Or you're bringing up these points. You're trying to be ignorant and bringing up stuff to try to provoke her to say something dumb. She's smarter than you, Dre. A lot of people say you're smarter than me.
Oh.
What do you think? You smarter than me?
I don't know. I guess whatever they think is what they're going to think.
Right, so what do you think? That's the question.
No, we're both smart.
Equal.
No, we have our areas that we're smarter than each other in, but we have areas then that we learn from each other how to be smart in. So
that's a good new answer. Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. So the other thing, before we even get into the rest of the comments things here, first of all, I listened to Cardi B's album yesterday. You listen to Cardi B?
No.
Okay, I listened to Cardi B's album because every once in a while something new comes out. I'm like, all right, I got work to do. Let me just listen to it all the way through, see what they talking about. It's actually not bad. It's actually not a bad album. She got some songs that I actually messed with, that I rewinded, listened to a couple times. I love the first track, the way that she goes in on the first track. It's called Get Up 10. That's the way you go in on the album. That's the way you introduce yourself, because you didn't have to know nothing about it.
What's the way? How did she introduce? How did she go in?
The way she came in, because Cardi B used to be a stripper, and then she became a rapper. And I didn't even really know much about it. I knew that much, but I didn't know that much. I didn't know much more. But she came in on the album and she talks about, like, look, I used to strip at a club that was across the street from where I used to go to school. I couldn't get money at home, so I had to go out and get it however I had to get it. Now, I was stripping, I was dancing. That doesn't mean I was just fucking every dude who came in there. But a lot of bitches be trying to say that I was fucking because I was a stripper. But I was stripping. I wasn't fucking, because bitches love to assume. And then she just talked about how, she couldn't get it any other way. That was her way of getting it, and now she's getting it. And the thing that I loved about Cardi B's album, because I just finished reading this book called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. You read that book?
No.
But it's a popular book. I think it's a New York Times bestseller when it came out. I believe it's a couple years ago it came out. But one of the things that Peter talks about in the book is that if you want to dominate a market, or you want to explode and have a monopoly, I'm not saying that Cardi B has a monopoly, but what you need to do is not just make incremental progress on what's already happening. You need to do something that nobody else is doing. Which is what Facebook did with Peter Thiel. He invented PayPal.
Yes.
That's what PayPal did, and the people who worked for him, the guys who created YouTube, worked for Peter Thiel at PayPal. Elon Musk, who created Tesla, he worked for Peter Thiel at PayPal. They were all part of the startup team there. He talks about how you got to do something that nobody else was thinking of doing, or solve the problem that nobody else was thinking of. And the thing that Cardi B did, and I said this on my IG story yesterday, was that she comes out talking about, I was a stripper. I did it to get the money, and now look what I'm doing. I leveraged that, and I did it on purpose. That was my hustle.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who've done things that they wouldn't be proud to like tell people, that was part of their life. It wasn't illegal, but they don't want to talk about it because it's like a stain on them.
Right.
But she flipped it. Yeah, she flipped it and said, that's what the fuck I did, and look what I did with it.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of, let's say, women who are strippers wouldn't want to put it on the front page, because they're like, that people gonna look down on me because of it. But she flipped it and used it to her advantage. Right. That's what I like. And other things that she said on the album, like only real shit comes out of my mouth and only real niggas go in it. I was like, Lil' Kim was the only other female rapper I remember saying stuff like that, like where she was just saying raunchy and saying like, this is the shit that I do. And this is what it is. And Cardi B just came out and said it. Like, yes, this is what I do. This is how it is. And I don't know if you remember, but years ago, we was on Instagram, and there was that Puerto Rican chick that was talking all that shit in Instagram videos. You remember that?
No, I don't.
But I do remember we was looking at these Instagram videos. I'm pretty sure that was Cardi B.
Oh, yeah, you told me that. Okay.
And remember she was saying something about you need to shut up and go make your man a sandwich and go get yourself some pills for that yeast infection.
Yeah,
I remember it because I watched the video like 100 times. It was hilarious. I'm pretty sure that was Cardi B back then before she blew up rapping. But anyway, shout out to Cardi B because that album was actually
I certainly appreciate the confidence, and I certainly appreciate, turning that stuff around and using it for you, not against you. And I think it also motivates other people to come out and use it the same way. Maybe it's not stripping, maybe it's something else, and it does, I guess that point right there, I guess that helps the world, because it does change some people's outlook on how to turn things around and how to also be confident enough to even speak about it. I mean, that's a big deal. So I give it up to her for that. I know her like main songs, Bartier, Cardi, and two other songs, which are pretty hot, but I haven't listened to the album yet.
I think it just came out.
My first thing when I heard Cardi B, her Bartier Cardi came out, and I heard this voice, she's just too, I don't know, she's just too much for me in the sense of, I don't talk like that. She's a woman. I can associate myself with a woman. I mean, I can relate, but it's not my favorite sound, so to say. But I certainly appreciate the art.
Absolutely. And the thing about Cardi, I lost my train of thought because I'm doing this Instagram story. The thing about Cardi's album is the raps are par for 2018. I was born in 1982. I'm 36, so I grew up in the 90s when it was all about lyrics. Like, if you didn't have lyrics, nobody was listening to nothing you said. It's not all about lyrics anymore. You can have lyrics, but it's not all about lyrics.
Yeah.
Now it's more the melody, the flow. Like, if you got something that people could just bob their head to. Like, I listened to Migos' album last week, and I was like, this joint actually got some joints on it. And I didn't think I would like it because I've heard them rap, and I'm like, these guys, they're not really saying a lot, but they got their beats, their production, the melodies. It's like something you listen to when you blast music in your car.
Yeah,
That's
I work
Migos.
out to that stuff.
That's what they do. So I respect that. I mean, it's a new genre of hip hop. But anyway, we ain't talking about hip hop here in this video. We're talking about the white girl who dates black guys comments. And just to reiterate, Anna's not technically a white girl like most people think.
Not technically.
You're European.
I'm Eastern European.
Yes, so she's from Europe. She's not an American white girl from
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas, Oklahoma, New York, Philly, Miami. But anyway, all right, so we already talked about the trolls. There was the overwhelming majority of the comments on the video came from, at least from what it sounded like, the way they were talking, because you don't know who these people actually are. It sounded like they were coming from black men.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was the overwhelming majority of the comments. I'm wondering why that was. Why would you think?
What was the comments, though? What were black men saying?
What were they saying?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to that. What overall was being said in the comments? Let's just say some generalizations of what were happening in the comments.
Yes.
All right. There were very few white women who came into the comments and said anything. At least that identified themselves as white women, said anything in the comments. That's because I think white women in general don't really comment on YouTube videos. I think the overall majority of people who comment on YouTube videos are black males. That's just what I think. And I've been on YouTube since 2006 and got more videos than any individual out there. The general comments, let's see. There were black women there was a small percentage of people who said, look, love who you want to love, be who you want to be with whoever it is that you like. And that's fine. Nobody should have a problem with it. That was a very small percentage of the comments.
Really?
Yes. There were some black men who came in and left these long ass comments, like just talking shit. Some of them were talking shit like directly. There were a few who talked shit directly about me. Like said something about me, like, yo, you shouldn't have said this, or you said that, or you think you this, or you think you that. But the majority of the comments that were those long diatribe comments were black men who were like preaching about the history of the black man and the plight of the black man and how a black man is crazy to date outside of his race because for whatever reason is like degrading the race or making black people worse. Or you with this white woman and let me tell you the history of black people and white people and the history of black people in Europe, and they were going deep. And I'm like, you wrote all that? Like, this is the number one thing that I meant to say. I didn't even write this down. People were just so fucking angry. That was it. Number one thing, if I had to generalize all the comments in one word, angry.
Angry.
It was a lot of anger in the comments. Now, part of this is the trolling nature of YouTube. Yeah. The YouTube comment section, and this is nothing personal against anyone watching this. YouTube comment section is a cesspool of human life. Okay, this is where people go when they don't have any other better prospects in life. They go to the YouTube comment section and talk. And I can say this.
And guess what?
What?
People who don't have any other prospects in life or anything else to do in life, they do have a lot of anger.
Hurt people.
Exactly. So that's why you had all the hurt comment or angry comments.
Or attempted to be hurtful.
Because anger is fear, is what it is. Anger is just the code word for fear. So, because when you're angry is because you're scared of something. You're scared that something is happening or is about to happen or didn't happen, whatever it is. And then it comes out as anger.
So how could, I'm going to go deeper on that right there. How could, let's say I get on YouTube and I see a video of a black dude and a white girl talking about how they date and why they date, and I get mad. How the hell could that be fear? What am I afraid of?
I think You could be afraid of so many things. You could be afraid that you can never do that. You've never been able to do that. It can be so many other things that are like deeply rooted fears that are not very evident right there. Like you can't really identify through even one therapy session sometimes.
But you believe that is fear.
So, but anger, core emotion for anger is fear. That's where it comes from, yeah.
Okay. Well, number one thing, like I said, a lot of people were angry, talking shit. So let's just go down the list of things that people were saying. Some stereotypical comments was actually this is 2 in 1. Some said she is only dating him to get his money.
Oh, yes, I am. Of course I am. He's got a load of money.
And some said, wait a minute, he is only dating her to get the money. Yeah. So which one is it, people?
Oh my God, both are funny. Both are so funny.
Let me tell you the truth.
Tell them the truth.
We're dating each other.
That's right. We're dating each other for the money we're about to make. Each of us separately or together and all of that.
Yeah, so we both are using each other for the money. That's what people were saying. So.
It's working out really well so far.
Yeah, some people said that I can only get a car on your credit.
Oh, how
That's
would you
some
know that?
stereotypical
How would
black
you
people
know
shit.
that?
No, this is some stereotypical black people shit. This is why I say it's a cesspool of human life. Because the stereotype for black people is that they got bad credit. So they go find a white person who got good credit so they can go do some positive things.
See, if you're not exposed to something like that, if it's not going on in your house or in your life or around you, you can't even like fathom that. Your mind doesn't even go there. So that's why they comment those things, because that's what's going on in their lives.
And then people were saying that the white chick / European chick is dating him because he played ball and he's tall and he got physical
attributes.
Yeah, physical attributes, and he don't have nothing else to offer but the fact that he played ball and he made some money. Now he's an entrepreneur, he made some money. She's just using him to take his money. Like in the Kanye song, when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. How you feel?
I'm definitely using him. He's got a great body. It works. I mean, I wouldn't be dating him if he had not as great of a body. Probably be attracted to him. So to me, that's normal. I mean, you're attracted to what you're attracted to physically, right? To some, it might be muscles. To another person, it can be, I don't know, a geek with glasses. I don't know, whatever other attractions women have. But to me, that's what it was. So it has nothing to do with money.
So what if I stop lifting weights and my muscles goes away?
I don't think you'd stop lifting weights.
Well, what if I do?
You'll pick up again. It'll be temporary.
So you would dump me?
Nah.
No.
You won't stop lifting weights. I knew that. I knew that when I met him. I mean, it's evident.
But you're kind of not answering the question. What if I just decided
I don't think you can be like, it's all mind things, right? So if you're not working on your body, it's about your mind. So with him, with you, I don't think you can be progressive as you are right now with your mind mentally, and then really go backwards so drastically that you become a totally different human being. You can stay stagnant, and sometimes that's not even a bad thing, because not being stagnant, but being in a plateau, so to say, maybe a mental or physical, you have to sometimes ride out the plateau to hit the next level. But I don't think you can go so back that you'll never lift a weight and your mind is going to totally go backwards and you're going to forget everything you know. That's not going to happen.
That's accurate. That's not going to happen. But so anyway, the next thing that there was a lot of, seems like African Americans in the comments. Of course, again, we don't know. Maybe there's a whole bunch of white people posing as black people trying to bring us down. Right? Maybe that's what it was. But
white people are probably not posing as black people.
Yeah, it was a bunch of black people who get on YouTube and leave comments. So anyway, I mean, we're making a video responding to them. So obviously this.
So what else did they say?
They said, somebody said, "Hey Siri." My Siri just popped on just from saying that. I didn't say nothing to Siri. They were saying
see, Siri is misinterpreting too.
Exactly. So even the smart technology misinterprets what we're saying. There were a lot of people who are just demonizing white people in general. Because the whole video is a black guy dating a white girl. They were just demonizing whiteness. Somebody left a comment. They said, because in the picture, the thumbnail for the video is when we were with that white Camaro.
Oh, okay.
So people were like, and then we had the phones, and the phone is white.
Yeah.
So somebody left a comment said, everything you own is white.
Oh my God.
He said, what do you do for a living? You must be doing well.
See, that right there is such a closed mindset. Like, that is, I only heard that like in the deep rural parts of, I don't know, whatever.
Well, it's somebody who just need to get out of their neighborhood.
Yeah, like, what?
Well,
What
look,
does white have to do with it?
well, this is the way people think. Like, if somebody is in an environment, and I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but when someone's in an environment where they're only around people of their kind,
Yeah.
and they've never been around anything else, and that's all they see, then that's all they know.
Yeah.
So when they see somebody doing something outside of that, they're like, what the fuck is you doing?
Right.
And probably the people who they associate with, they look at anything outside of being around their kind as wrong, because they haven't seen anything different.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not like they're wrong to think it, it's just that people don't know what they don't know.
Yep. Yep.
And one of the reasons for me, I'll say this, that I wanted to go away for college. When I got out of high school, I knew I wanted to go away to college because I actually had a half scholarship to Morehouse University, but I didn't go because the shit still costs like $50,000 a year and my family couldn't afford it. I needed your credit back then.
Yeah, where was I?
Yeah, my family couldn't afford for me to go there, and I didn't have a scholarship. I didn't have any more of a scholarship. But I knew I wanted to leave home because I wanted to see different environments. I wanted to meet different types of people. And I grew up around all black people. And I still got a whole lot of black friends. I still got a black family. My mom and dad still black.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be around people of different cultures because I wanted to see what the rest of the world was like. Because I knew this wasn't the whole world. But there are some people who stay around their same kind of people their whole lives, so they don't know anything else. So when they see something outside of that, they're like, wow.
Yeah.
Or they think it's wrong because the people around them are teaching them that it's wrong.
Right.
Like, you don't just
Same
come out
thing
of
with
nowhere.
white people. I mean, I know I've had like people working for me in the past. They would be from this tiny part in Iowa, and they had never come out of their town. But one time when they went to college and went to Fort Lauderdale, and they were looking around like they didn't know what was going on around them. So I've seen it both ways. Yeah.
And what I try to understand is how a black person will come on the internet and talk shit about white people when you got an iPhone. Who owns Apple?
White person.
White. You on YouTube, was started by,
White person.
owned by.
Yeah.
You got on, you stand in line for some Jordans. Jordan don't even own Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan's black, but he don't own that brand.
Yeah.
It was white people. And a lot of motherfuckers go work somewhere where your check is signed by a white person that you ain't never even met. But have negative stuff to say about white people in general. Not even the dating part, but just white people in general. Like the guy who said everything you own is white. Like he was saying it and he was trying to be funny. He was just trying to get the thumbs up, because now when you leave a comment, somebody can thumbs up the comment. So that's really what people is going for. It's not really that they got something to say to me, because they don't know me. They just see a video or let me leave a comment here, see what kind of burn I get off this comment. But it's like, I think, as they say, a lot of truth is said in jest.
Yes.
Like, people say stuff trying to be funny or trying to be trolling, but they really believe at least some of it. That's why they're saying it.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't come to mind if they
Yeah,
were thinking.
otherwise you wouldn't have that thought.
Exactly. They wouldn't have that thing to joke about.
Yes.
People said that you're the smarter one between us. Let's talk about that. You're a smarter one. Why do you think people believe that? Do y'all think there's white people smarter than black people?
I don't know. Who knows why they believe it? Who knows why?
They might not believe it. They might just be saying it to troll. You never know. See, we're just trying to interpret.
Well, okay, let's define smart. What's smart?
Yes.
Like, what does smart mean? When I first heard the word, and I'm a foreigner, the smart, in my language, it translates as like academically, like educated is the same as smart in my language. So for a long time, I used to think smart means just that, like educated. So, but what does it mean smart?
Educated, just overall level of intelligence. Just being able to understand and comprehend and explain things. Who can do it better? Smarter person can do it better than a less smart individual.
Wow. I don't think you're any less smart than me. I think you have pretty good diction and intellect and writing and speaking abilities, and you display your smarts pretty well. So I don't know why they think that.
That's the PC answer. Who is smarter, me or you? She is. All right.
I'm smart.
All right.
I guess I'm smarter because you're saying it.
Just overall with the comment, I mean, I don't think it's really nothing else we need to say about the comments. there anything?
No, I mean, if
you
it's,
didn't read the comments.
I didn't even read it because I'm just not interested, honestly. I mean, I know if it's something really important, you're gonna tell me, but
No, the comments are not important. We're doing this as entertainment.
It can't be. It can't be anything like so important that I have to really look at the comments. But I understand why you do. But I mean, what is there to say about it? People project their own opinions and their own life on other people. That's all it is. They're coming from what they know. That's all.
Okay, I think that shows why she's the smarter one, right there. And let's move on to the next topic. What else are we going to talk about here? We're going to do a segment. I should have did this in a separate. We're going to do that in a separate video. The other thing that I was going to talk about. But what we also want to talk about in this video is when, let's say you are around a dude, not me, but a guy who has a girl.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been in that situation where you're around a guy who has a girl and his girl might be sending you some negative energy, or you sense negative energy coming from her just because you think she might think you're trying to talk to her man, or you might be trying to, get in the middle of their relationship, or maybe she's just, I don't know, jealous, just a jealous girl in general, and you happen to come around, or she got some feelings about you. Have you ever been in that situation?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, I've been in that situation as a woman where if I meet a couple, and not everybody obviously, but sometimes I would meet couples, or it'd be in a professional setting or a social setting, whatever, and the woman I can feel the vibe, like she is scared, like she is defensive. She's not being mean to me, but she's on a lookout, like, hey, like, is my man looking at you? What is gonna happen? What are your intentions? She's pretty much sizing me up and down, and she's questioning everything I do. And the way I deal with it, I make friends with a woman. I make friends with her so she doesn't feel the threat, because if you don't know somebody, your guard will be up. But when you know them, if you get to know me, I don't want your man. Whether I have a man or not, I don't want your man. So for me, that's easy to communicate with her, much easier to communicate after she gets to know me, because I don't even have to communicate it. She already knows me. She feels my vibe, which is complete opposite of what she felt it would be.
So number one, you're Becky with the good hair that Beyonce was
There've been a lot of good-haired women that felt the same way. Their guard was up, but I make sure that I make friends with them. Maybe not like close friends, but I make sure in the moment I pay attention to them, because the worst thing you can do is, let's say I know the man and he happens to have a wife or a woman, and she's never heard of me, or she doesn't know me in person, and I have to deal with the man, but the woman is there. I make sure she gets attention. I make sure she's important in that relationship too.
So let me ask you.
And that takes care of everything.
Let me ask you an ignorant question. You ever thought, like, you know what, bitch? I'm gonna fuck your man out of spite?
No. No.
Okay.
No, I think that's the lowest thing you can do.
But there are some females out there
to yourself, and I have very few kinds of people I don't respect at all. I understand why they're that way, but I don't respect that behavior, is women who go after men who are not single.
Knowing that they're not single.
Knowing that they're not single, yeah. I think that's the lowest grade of a woman you can be, to consciously do that. Because in the end, you're hurting yourself. And it's just, I don't know, I just think they have no self-respect. So they can't respect that man either. Like, they're just not a good person to deal with.
How do you deal with a situation where, let's say, like, there are females that I know that are friends of mine, or acquaintances, or people I've worked with, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Maybe I knew them before I knew you, or I met them since we known each other.
Yes.
And some of them, you've been around when I've been around them.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with some of them who have been, tell me, like, your experience with those of them who have conducted themselves the right way, and those who have conducted themselves the wrong way around us.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I've described these scenarios to you. I'm very open about them to you,
yeah,
and I point them out.
We gotta say names. Don't say names.
Yeah, no, of course I'm not gonna say names, but
I would say names.
But it's happened before, and I always, you have to understand something, like, women, unless we're talking about somebody that's ignorant, like they really have no reason. Women don't become defensive unless there is an environment, there is a vibe, there is a person that makes them, provokes them to feel that way. So in my experience, what's happened is, this particular one woman I can think of, she would totally pay all the attention to him, but knowing that we were together, she would completely ignore the fact, and she would be like hanging off his knee and like giving him all kinds of compliments in front of me and completely like making me look like I'm invisible next to him. And I think that would make any reasonable person and a woman feel like you can't make somebody feel invisible like that. You have to pay the woman respect as well. And that's what I try not to be when I'm with other couples, because of course I'm a secure individual. Like I'm not jealous. Like, you know this, I'm not jealous. It doesn't faze me. Like there's no woman can walk in the room and make me feel a certain way if I'm with him. Like, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's whoever wants it. No, go ahead.
So if we're in an event and you see me having a conversation with a woman, you're not gonna come walk over and be like,
no,
just to make sure she knows.
No. Actually, I was at an event like a couple of weeks ago. It was many of us in the room, and I'm talking to the guy, and he's talking about his girlfriend while he was talking to me, and we had just a professional conversation. And
it was an event you were at.
I was at an event, and there was a guy there, and I'm talking to him, and he mentions his girlfriend. And like 2 minutes later, and I know the girl is there, by the way, because I knew she was in the other room. And the girl sees us talking, and she rushes over. She's like, "Oh, hi, how are you, babe?"
She said that to you?
Like, no, to her man. As if like, I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, I know about you already. Like, what? So if it was me in that case, I would have said hello to both of them, like, and I might have not even come over. So I felt like she came over just to make herself known, and that's the most insecure thing you can do. And I understand if I was talking to a woman right now, there is a woman code, there is a girl code that we have that we need to be aware and all this stuff, and I get it, but there is ways to be aware without looking so defensive and so scared and being so obvious about it.
So what is that way that a woman can both be the other woman who's talking to a guy who's committed, and be the woman who's in a relationship with a guy and he's conversing with another woman? And what if that other woman just kind of is doing a little bit too much? What do you do?
Which other woman?
So let's say me and you are at an event and I'm conversing with a woman and you're across the room, and it just appears, I'm not doing nothing wrong, but it appears she's doing too much.
Then I expect you to check her. I'm not going to come and check her. You need to check her, because you have respect for me to check her, whether I'm there or not, because that's what I would do. Because guys are hitting on me all the time. That's what I do.
Guys be hitting on you.
I think this is like the funniest thing. Yeah, so I expect you to have enough class to check her.
Okay, well, see, this is why she's the smarter one. I couldn't have come up with that.
And I'm gonna act like she's a human being. I'm not gonna come over and be all like, "Oh, hey, what's up, girl? Like, that's my man." I don't need to be. It's like the queen doesn't announce she's a queen. I don't announce that I'm with a man. Like, it needs to be known. And if anybody's letting anybody know, it's him.
All right. So Jay-Z. How long you been a fan of Jay-Z?
I'm not a fan of Jay-Z.
You're not a fan of Jay-Z?
I just love Jay-Z.
The artist.
I guess I'm a fan, but I'm not like a typical fan.
You're not a fan. You're not as much of a fan as I am. Jay-Z, the artist.
No, I like his music, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's the greatest, and he is the greatest. But I think I appreciate other things about him a lot more than the music.
Okay, let's talk about that, because we just watched his interview with Letterman. The interview was pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be longer.
Right, it was as good as Letterman is. Let's just put it that way.
I agree with that. But his interview, you saw his interview with they did the Rap Radar one.
Yeah.
He was sitting with the two guys. He did the one where he was with I think it was New York Times.
Yeah.
That was a shorter
one. One before this was really good.
I think that was Rap Radar, where he was sitting with two guys.
Yeah, that one was good.
Was a longer one.
And the previous one was
good. The Rap Radar one was a really good interview.
Yeah.
But what is it about, because we've been talking about Jay-Z, and you've talked about his growth, his maturity as a person. Jay-Z's like 50.
He is?
Yeah, he's about 50. He's born in '68. Yeah, so he's going to turn. I think he turns 50 this year. His birthday is December 4th. Everybody knows that.
Wow.
Heard his raps. So, what is it about his maturity as a person? Because you talked about his emotional maturity. What is that? And how can a man acquire that? And why does it matter to a man? And why does it matter to a man in a relationship with that woman?
Yeah, that's
what exactly does that mean?
Those are multiple loaded questions.
Yes, they are. All right, let's start with the first one. What is it about Jay-Z that you really like? What is that thing that really gets you?
There is what I call emotional maturity. Is there's a sense of calm that comes over a person when he or she knows that she doesn't have to prove anything in life, and there is a sense of what's the opposite of not being calm? Like there is
it's anxiety.
There is a fidgeting. There is unease that a person has. Tension, good word. That when they know that they have something to prove and they're hustling to prove something. And I think emotional maturity is you realize like you don't have anything to prove. You don't need to prove anything because just you being who you are is already a proof. And I think he's either getting there or very close. Because I mean he's gonna grow even more, but especially after these last 2 kids and stuff. But I think he's really close, and you can see it. He's calm. He's cool. He's calm. He's collected, and you can tell that's how he is. This is not staged.
So he's not trying to prove anything.
No, he's not trying to prove anything. He knows that, and not because he's accomplished, but I think
it's not because of how much money he has.
No, not because of the money. Not because of accomplishments. I think. You become that way regardless of your accomplishments because you realize that being who you are is enough. You have a sense like you're enough as you are. Because most of our lives we try to prove something until we die, and at some point, lucky ones, we realize at the end of our lives that we have nothing to prove. We don't need to prove anything.
So where did that come from? How did Jay-Z, do you think there was a point where he wasn't like that? I mean, at least from his public persona, what we can see about him. How did he get there? What did he do? How can other men get there? Actually, before we even get to that question, why does it even matter? I mean, why does it matter to go from being, you need to prove something? Because a lot of people out there feel like they need to prove something. Like, I'm trying to accomplish, I'm trying to get promoted, I'm trying to get this job, I'm trying to get this money, I'm trying to get this status, I'm trying to get these followers.
Yeah, and that is all like proving how important you are, proving your significance. And honestly, it is important to reach that level where you don't need to prove anything, because that's when you become okay with yourself. But when you're trying to prove something, when you're trying to prove your significance, get comments, likes, status, and so on, especially status, you're seeking outside validation. And that's the difference. Like, he doesn't need outside validation right now. He knows if he never did anything in his life prior and never anything after this point, he's enough. I think he's reaching that mental state. And it's not necessarily because of his accomplishments, but it's probably because of his experiences that he's reaching that level, especially the kids, having kids and having the marriage and the kids, and especially his mom coming out. And I think he's growing. I mean, he's 50, like you said. So, but I think he's used his resources well, his mental resources well. Like, he actually connected the dots and thought about it, you know?
So why
why it's important is because if you're seeking outside validation, there's a saying, I like to say this, you can never have enough of what you don't need. Okay. And I think you will never have enough of what you don't need. Meaning you don't need outside validation. We all should be thinking of ourselves.
People can never get enough of it, even though they
as long as you need outside validation, you'll never get enough of it, ever.
That's some fortune cookie shit right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's real. I mean, we have a president right now. We have a president right now who is a very powerful man, but it's very obvious that he doesn't think that way.
What does that mean?
He doesn't think he's very powerful.
He doesn't?
He does not.
What does he think?
He's very scared. Instead of feeling powerful, he never feels powerful. That's why all the tweets, and that's why his behavior, that's what his behavior is driven by. So if a man never reaches that emotional maturity where he's enough as he is, he's always going to seek the outside validation.
So you feel like, I mean, you brought this up, and I mean, it ain't even that many white people in the comments. But you said,
I'm not saying pro or
conservatives,
against. I'm not talking about the president
I'm
pro or against. I'm just making an observation here.
That was tongue in cheek, but you're saying that you feel the president does not feel that he's powerful?
Absolutely not.
Even though he has the most powerful position?
Absolutely, yes. He's one of the most powerful men in the world, but it's very obvious he doesn't think that way. He doesn't feel that way.
And what is he doing that shows that? You said the tweets, what else?
He's constantly demonstrating immaturity, emotional immaturity, and I'm not going to go into what he's doing. This is going to be like a really long conversation.
All right, that might be the next episode.
Yeah.
If people want to talk about that. But why does, with Jay-Z, the emotional maturity, why does emotional maturity matter? How does it help? What is that going to do for a man, let's say, in a relationship? Because this is the Anna and Dre show. What could that do for, if a man doubles his emotional maturity in a relationship, how's that going to help the relationship?
Well, you can't have a healthy relationship without emotional maturity on both sides. And it's like a constant thing. It's an evolving thing. It's not like, oh, you hit it and then you can double it. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's not in numbers. The way it's going to help the relationship is you are going to be able to relate, empathize, and put another person first, which is what a relationship is. If you're all about yourself in the relationship, then you have a relationship with yourself. You don't have a relationship with another human being. So, but if you don't have that emotional maturity, it's always going to be about yourself. It's like the saying, oh, it's 50-50 in the relationship. No, it's not. It's 100-100. If I give 50% and he gives 50%, what are we doing with the other 50? Where is that going? We're keeping it to ourselves. Because a whole is not two halves of one. Two halves of one doesn't make it whole.
Makes sense.
Two halves of one.
Yeah.
Two halves of one doesn't make it one whole.
What does it make it?
It makes it two halves.
All right, you like going to some.
I know it's some riddle
this
stuff.
This is some. What was that? I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for. But anyway,
it's
that went over my head. I don't
like
know if any of y'all got it.
50-50 versus 100-100. You know, and that's where emotional maturity comes in. If you don't have it, you're going to be all about yourself, and you're not going to have a relationship. It'll be a relationship with you.
Okay. Y'all need to get on the Ask Anna if y'all want to know more about that, because we already told y'all at the top of the episode about Ask Anna, but that's pretty much it. I mean, 43 minutes don't seem like it's been that long. But
43 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anything else that you got to say on these topics as far as the comments, which, I mean, you didn't see them, but I gave you a general idea of what's happening.
No, I'm not about to comment on the comments. I think it's futile, really. It doesn't really mean anything.
And about women dating men, and another woman coming around and that woman feeling maybe a little trepidation about that situation.
Yeah, I think I gotta say, like, as women, we have to be wiser than men and other women in the room. You know, you gotta step up and say, like, what is really going on here? Just observe the situation. And that takes emotional maturity to realize, like, I'm a woman of value. I don't want another chick to be feeling that way about me. Like, I don't, because it's threatening to her. Why would I want that to happen? But if you don't have emotional maturity, you feed off of that. You feel like, oh, look, I'm more beautiful. I have a better dress than you. I have better hair than you, or whatever. So you're looking at me, and if that feeds my ego, I don't have emotional maturity. It takes emotional maturity to say, like, hold on a second, let me help her chill out, because I don't want her man, and she can relax. Like, and we're human beings here.
So you don't be out trying to style on other bitches?
No. If you're styling, you style on yourself and make friends with other women. It's like, real women don't compete with other women.
On the Ask Anna, we're gonna hear a whole lot more about this. I think we need to hear more from Anna. What do y'all think? I mean, she's definitely the smarter one between the two of us.
Smarter one.
Yeah, so I think we need to hear more from Anna. So to Ask Anna, y'all know
you're
what to
very
do.
smart.
Y'all want, thank you.
You're so
You're just
smart.
saying that because the camera.
You're so smart. I tell you this all the time. I tell him this all the time, just like this.
Okay. Everybody, y'all know what it is. Drake Baldwin, Dre all day. The Dre and Anna show. One last thing to tell them.
Work on your game.
That's it. We out.